C'est mon père, ça me fait bien tiens. Tu me fais dire non kotu, era one radio. C'est mon père, tu me fais bien tiens. Tu me fais dire non kotu, era one radio. Oh, and you pam asam pam era one yebo num pam c'est mon père, ça me fait bien tiens. Tu me fais dire non kotu, era one radio. C'est mon père, tu me fais bien tiens. Tu me fais dire non kotu, era one radio. Oh, and you pam asam pam era one yebo num pam
Hello. Good evening, Era One Radio listeners and viewers all over the world. It's another edition of the Divine Connection, and this is Tuesday, the 4th day of June, 2024. 4th of June reminds me of what happened in Ghana a few years ago. In fact, so many years ago, 1979, when former President J.J. Rawlings led a team of guys and did an uprising that overthrew the then government. That was the 1979 4 June uprising revolution. It's been years ago. Well, that brought in another coup d'etat. And afterwards, Rawlings was voted into power. He stayed on for almost 19-20 years until his demise a few years ago. So that is the 4th June celebration. I believe Ghanaians are remembering, but I don't think they're celebrating a very big deal. But anyway, 4th of June is also somebody's birthday. So if today is your birthday, I just want to wish you a happy birthday. In actual fact, if you know somebody celebrating their birthday today, just put it in the text, and I'll be glad to announce it or wish them a happy birthday this 4th day of June, 2024. We are there, halfway through the year. So if you have anything to do, please don't procrastinate. We are halfway through the year. This is June. All right. Tonight is another edition of the Divine Connection Show. This is where divinity meets humanity. And normally on Tuesdays like this, I host Apostle Henry Wusumeni, but unfortunately, because of the power issues, the dooms and all the power in our inability and being cut off here and there, we couldn't do our normal program. So I just have to sit in today and do a solo program. Well, I'm broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and also on Modern Ghana Radio. If you want to call in, the number to call in is 240-280-2633. And if you want a text, the number is also 510-931-0946. Again, we are broadcasting live, or I am broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and Modern Ghana Radio. All right, what is the warm-up for today? Normally, we start with a warm-up where we read what is trending in the system, in the country, and all over the world. And what is trending in the United States is that, well, I hear 11 senators have decided to slow down activities in the Senate. Why? Because they are also protesting against the conviction that was rained on former President Donald Trump. They are also protesting that they don't understand why he should be found guilty. So that is what it is. I mean, there are a whole lot of stuff going on in the country. It's crazy. And this is where I begin to ask. I haven't heard anything from my Ghanaian prophets so far. Normally around this time where we have about 5 months to elections time, prophecies will be coming. And so I want to know, please tag our prophets and let us tell us. We want some juicy news. Who is going to win the 2024 elections, both in Ghana and the United States? And more so, are the prophets able to see that Trump is going to win this time or Biden is going to win? We want to hear some juicy news. So please let us know. And who is going to win in Ghana? Is it going to be Bawumia? Is it going to be the uprising Cheddar? Is it going to be the Afro-Pranto Party, Alan Shamati. Who is going to win? This is the time where we need some juicy, news. Please let us hear something. Don't wait till the news is, stronger and stronger, and then you make predictions and come and tell us who's going to. We want to know by now. You should be able to know, because if God speaks to you in December, that is not the only time God speaks. He speaks at sundry times, anytime. So we are not waiting for December to come and tell us, oh, I saw that this person was the one going to win when it's over. We want it now. All right. If you want to join us, as I said earlier on, this is YouTube, Facebook, and Modern Ghana Radio. On behalf of my studio manager, Dr. Setutu, and the Arawantum team, I want to welcome you to tonight's broadcast. What I'm doing tonight as a solo, since I'm by myself, is I want to look at the Serenity Prayer. I don't know whether you've seen that, or I'm sure almost, everybody's heard about the Serenity Prayer. I want us to just do a reflection on that prayer. What does it mean to you? How does it apply in your life? I want us to look at it real quick, and then we'll take some nuggets from it. So, which means I'm not going to be talking too long tonight. It's just going to be a short broadcast. So stay tuned and let's enjoy this flight together. As I said earlier on, if today is your birthday, or you know anybody celebrating their birthday, please let me know so I can reach them on your behalf. I thought my cousin's birthday was today, but Lucy said that was a Facebook, birthday, so it's a different thing. Anyway, let me just play my jingle, and when I come back, we'll continue with this discussion. Stay tight, don't go away. All right, back in the studios after that short jingle, broadcasting live again on YouTube, Facebook, and Modern Ghana Radio. Tonight, I'm reflecting on the very simple phrasal topic, the Serenity Prayer. What does that mean to you? What does the Serenity Prayer mean to you? What is serenity? We'll be looking at that tonight. And normally, if I'm not broadcasting with Apostle Henry, I do a book kind of review, a study. And so tonight, I'm just going to do a worldwide web study, which is also called the internet study. So I'm going to glean some of my apport from there, and then we'll be looking at what this topic is all about. All right, the Serenity Prayer. You've heard about it several times, and you prayed about it. You prayed on it. If you enjoyed it, and maybe you haven't taken a serious look at it, tonight I want us to look at it. So this Serenity, well, I got most of my information from the web. These days, you can get whatever you want from the internet. You just type in your topic, and all the information will come. Either you take a drive to the library and go and read, or everything is on your fingertip. Just put information in and it will spew out information from you. So I did a little study research and realized that serenity is from the Latin word serenus, which means calm or peaceful. And then when you add the English suffix ity or ity, meaning quality or state of mind. So the definition of serenity is the absence of mental stress or anxiety. It has a lot of synonyms: anthraxis, hasiasis, peace, peace of mind, peacefulness, repose, and type of quietness, quietude, tranquility, and what you can think of. All right, so let's look at the actual prayer. What is the Serenity Prayer? It's believed that an evangelist, a pastor, a renowned clergy by name Reinhard Niebuhr, he wrote the original version of the Serenity Prayer, and it reads this way. So his was a little bit truncated, and from what he did originally, it says, "O God and Heavenly Father, grant us serenity of mind to accept that which cannot be changed, the courage to change that which can be changed, and the wisdom to know the one from the other through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen." So basically, his prayer was that God should grant us the serenity, and the serenity is what I defined earlier on, the peace of mind, to be able to accept that which cannot be changed. If you can't change something, then the best thing is to accept it and move on. But then you also realize there are some things that you don't just accept them as they are. You have to fight it. We'll go into that later. to accept that which you cannot change, and to have the courage, the boldness to change that which can be changed, and the wisdom to know the difference. So if you have the courage, the boldness to change it, and you are not changing it, then you are not wise, you are not smart. If you are drinking too much, if you are an alcoholic, and you've prayed about it, give me the strength to do it, and you have the ability to change it, and you are not doing it, then they have a different name for you. I don't want to say it here. If you can change it, do. If you cannot take it to a higher power, seek God to help you. He is the ultimate. He can help you. And if God tells you, I want you to live with it, then accept that challenge and live with it. You realize somebody like Paul, it's recorded that he prayed several times, and every time he did, he had the response, my grace is sufficient for you. So God wasn't actually going to take away the problem. He wanted Paul to live with it, to accept it, and use that as a testimony. So Paul learned the wisdom, the grace to accept whatever it was. Bible doesn't tell us what that anomaly or what deficiency it was. So Paul had to deal with it. There are some things that, honestly speaking, trust me, you may never be able to change it. That is when you ask for the grace to accept whatever it is and live through it. Peradventure, that situation that you have come to accept will also help you or lead other people. Let's look at the true meaning of serenity. Somebody also defines it this way. It's a state of being calm, peaceful, and untroubled. Achieving this positive state of mind means you won't feel as troubled by life's ups and downs. While addiction often brings chaos, a loss of control, and emotional turmoil, serenity will help you stay calm and true to yourself. And so, as I said earlier on, I'm going to do a study where I take an author's information, somebody's information, and I kind of digest it and help all of us to assimilate it. So stay tight and let's go. All right, I was expecting a better text from here. Somebody brings their whatever telesay information. This is not what I want to read, comment I want to read. So whoever you are, as a corsair, this is not a platform to come and advertise your gigabytes. Please respect the channel and put in a better comment that will help all of us. This is not what I'm expecting. Anyway, so we're looking at the Serenity Prayer, and I'm going to do a study by a writer and author called Steve Rose. I'll be looking at his perspective of what this Serenity Prayer means. Of course, when you do a doctoral study or any higher education, even bachelor's or master, whatever it is, you have to give credit to who it's due. You don't just take anybody's material and just take them as your own. So I'm giving credit to Steve Rose. He is the author of this information that I want to share. I read it and I felt, you know what, this is a very good information. Let me share with my people. We all can learn. When I come here, I do something, whether I'm hosting or I'm doing a solo presentation. Whatever I do, I am the one that enjoys first, benefits from it first, and I make sure you also benefit. So whatever I'm teaching here is something I also want to benefit. All right, so according to Steve Rose, the Serenity Prayer means letting go of situations beyond your control and taking action towards things within your control. It also means being able to know when things are within your control and when things are beyond your control. So the key words are within and beyond. There are some things that you have control over. You can manipulate it. You can change it. And there are some things that no matter what you do, you cannot. Right now, if you say you want to be a millionaire right now, yes, the desire is there, but you are not. So don't stress yourself that I'm not a millionaire, so I'm going to kill myself. This is beyond your control right now. Be content with what you have now, and then change the situation if you can change it to be what you want to be. That's what we're talking about. Something that is within your control and that which is outside your control. So when do you fight for things that you think you deserve? And when do you let things play on their own accord? This is something that I put in. And so I did a scripture reading from Matthew chapter 11, verse 12. And this is what the Bible says. It says, and from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of God has suffered violence, and the violent take it by force. So what he's saying is that before the days of John the Baptist, the kingdom of God was going through violence. But they that are violent take things by force. So here I realize that it is not everything that you have to say, okay, as for this, I'm going to let it go. An example about men, if you have a chick, your girlfriend and somebody is going to forage on your girlfriend, somebody wants to snatch your girlfriend, what do? Do you stand and look on why somebody comes to snatch your girlfriend, or you fight for your girlfriend? Your answer is as good as mine. There are times that you have to, unless you don't want it. But if you want that chick, you go and fight for it. All right. And then the other question is that, when do you give up and take everything to the Lord in prayer and wait there? There are times when Mark 11:12 is saying that this, before the days of John the Baptist, the kingdom of heaven has suffered violence, but the violent take it by force. So sometimes you have to grab things by force. You have to fight for it. You don't just easily give up. You go for what you want. You have to go for it. Don't let somebody tell you, oh, it's beyond your reach, so you're not going to go for it. If you want to be a medical doctor, don't just say, oh, somebody told me I'm not good at math or science or biology or whatever, so I give up. If you have to study extra, whatever you have to do, do it. If you want to go to a certain university and they say, okay, you need certain grades or you want to pass certain SAT scores, don't let somebody discourage you. If you think you can do it, go for it. If it means studying, study. Do what? Bend the midnight candle and go for it. Of course, there are some things that you cannot. If you are not studying and you are getting D's and C's and F, then forget about going to Yale or Harvard or any other grade school. You have to work for it. So, when it comes to what is within your reach and what is outside your reach, you have, then that is when wisdom comes in. You apply wisdom and say, Lord, what do I do? I cannot reach this, but I can do this. Give me the wisdom to know when my capability will take me to this place and when I cannot reach it. You have to be able to reach it. You have to be able to decipher and know how strong you are, what you can do and what you cannot do. You cannot just sit down and fold your arms and so, as for me, I don't have the strength, so I'm not going to do it. And you also don't have to sit there and keep striving for the moon if you don't have the capability. You have to weigh your options. So the wisdom to be able to decipher on these two, that is when wisdom comes in. That's what we're looking at. So, like I said, when you look at Philippians, Paul's message in Philippians chapter 4, verse 6-7, this is what Paul said. He said, be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication. With thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. And the peace of God, which passes all understanding shall keep your hearts and mind through Jesus Christ. So here Paul is saying that don't fret, don't stress. Whatever you're going through, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, give it unto God. Tell God about it. And after that, just leave it at his feet. Don't stress, don't worry, and see how things play out. But it doesn't also mean that once you pray, then just chill. Okay, I want to start a business. God, what business do I do? What do I want to do? I want to do this. Please, Lord, advise me. Whilst you are waiting for the advice, you don't just fold your arms and keep sleeping. Use your brains. God is giving us the spirit and the brain. Use that brain is giving us. Okay, what can I do? What am I good at? What are my potentials? What level of education do I have? Or what diploma certificate do I have? What can I do? Where can I work? Let me start doing something. And as you start doing something, God is going to direct you. If he thinks where you are going is not where he wants you to be, he will pull you gradually into where he wants you to fit. But once you've committed to him, don't just sit down. Start doing something. You prayed about it. Start moving. I want to do business in selling tomatoes. Research in tomatoes. Where can I sell tomatoes and make profit? Pray about it and start moving. If you don't have the capital, where do I get money? Do I get a loan from somebody and start? And when you do, let integrity lead you. When you borrow that money, make sure you're going to pay, you're going to use it towards the business. So Paul is saying that in everything, by prayer and supplication, adding thanksgiving, let your requests, the things that you need, make them known to God. God, this is what I want to do. It's not going to say God is going to scream up and say, oh, my son, Charles or Ajua, this is what I want you to do. Yes, God speaks in various ways. It could be by intuition, a gentle voice, whatever it is, or maybe through just an advice. You're talking to a mentor, a friend, you say, oh, I think this will work for you, and you go into it. That's what we're talking about. You have to know what your strength can withstand, help you to do, and what you cannot do, and the wisdom to know the difference. All right, so now going to Steve Rose's analysis, we're going to look at this prayer, the Serenity prayer, as it is. And so, like I said earlier on, Reinhard Niebuhr wrote this prayer that has become something that people put on their walls. And it actually is an excellent prayer. It's very awesome. But you have to read it in details and know how to apply them, because you can't just say, okay, Oh, I pray the serenity prayer and just go and sleep. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. There are as I said earlier on, there are some things you cannot change. The courage to think the things that I can, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. The things that I cannot change, which I need to accept, and the strength and the courage to change the things. If you can change it, bro, sis, don't sit there and say somebody's going to change it for you. All right, so we're going to look at Steve Rose's prayer. The things that he put in. He put one, serenity. He put two, acceptance. Three, courage. And then the wisdom. These are four nuggets that we're going to look at. So we're going to look at this closely and the meanings of these virtues. Of course, the first one that he mentioned is what? Serenity. The meaning of serenity. We're going to look at that. We're going to look at acceptance, courage, and wisdom. Now let's take serenity. All right. So according to Rose, serenity is the first virtue mentioned in the prayer and is presented as the primary goal. Serenity comes from the root serene, meaning calm, tranquil, peaceful, and clear, unclouded. It's not a cloudy situation. It's very clear. It's a state of mental calmness. Where there was calmness, there was clarity. Where you feel at peace in the present moment, you are able to focus on what matters. Way back when I was in primary school, actually high school in St. Augustine's College, I think somebody brought the idea of drawing a picture, and we had seen it somewhere. That the picture that won the contest was somebody who drew a picture of the beach. You know, our school was very close to the beach. I mean, it was just a street that separated us from the beach in Cape Coast. You drew a picture of a bird perched on a tree, sitting quietly on this tree. And of course, you know, when you go to the beach, the storms are raging, you know, waves and all that. And so you could see the tree was actually shaking. The branches are shaking. But here was the bird that was perched in one of the branches, calm, cool, and collected. The bird wasn't perturbed at all. He said, you know what? I don't even care about these waves, this storm. Me, I am stuck on this tree. The bird was enjoying the calmness. That's what it means to be calm in the midst of situation. When they tell you, oh, this is going on, so and so is happening, of course, you will stress out and you will be your adrenaline will begin to pump, but then be calm. That calmness, that's what we're talking about, where you focus on matters and you are calm. Being in a state of serenity is the opposite of a state of anxiety. Somebody who's anxious, you can tell they are shaking here and there. Crazy things are going on in their body. But when you talk about serenity, this is the calmness you're talking about. Anxiety pulls you out of the present moment. It clouds your mind with thoughts of the past and worries about the future. You haven't even gotten into the future, but you are worried. Who am I going to marry? Who's going to be my wife? Who's going to be my husband? How many children am I going to have? Am I going to have money to pay my bills? Of course, you have to plan for the future, but do not stress about it. It's not yet here. Don't worry too much. Plan as it comes on. I mean, the days are coming. Plan for the future. Do what you have to do, but do not, when you plan, just leave it there. Do not stress. Of course, find a strategy together, but don't let tension and chaos fill your mind. Like anxiety, serenity is a perspective through which you view the world. The world does not need to be perfect to have mental clarity. You don't have to live in a perfect world. It's going crazy in the country here. I hear some 11 senators say, you know what? They're going to slow down activities of the Senate because they are protesting in favor of Donald Trump, who was convicted of 34 counts charges. They don't understand that 12 jury members met and say, you know what? This guy is guilty for all the 34 charges brought against him. The Senate Republicans are saying, no, we don't agree with this. He has to be our nominee. We're going to fight it because you have charged him. We are going to relinquish, leave our job somewhere. We are going to protest. I don't even know how that is going to work. The world does not need to be perfect to have mental clarity. With practice, we can approach certain situations through the mental lens of serenity. And Rose quotes a guy by name Kelly. He says, things might go terribly or horribly wrong. Learning to sit with ambiguity can be a very important start at a life liberated from anxiety. And the way to do it is to resist the urge to chase answers to questions that may actually be unanswerable. I've said it earlier on. There are some things that you cannot change, and there are some things that you cannot have answers to. You cannot. I lost my mom before age 18, before I was 18 thereabout. And I kept asking God, why make me lose my mom at this time? So young, around 18, before that, lost my mom. So I kept asking, why did she have to die? Up to now, I don't have the answers to it, and I may never have the answers to it, so I've just let it go, accept it as part of life. Learning to adopt a serene perspective takes practice. Although it takes work, the Serenity Prayer gives us direction on how to adopt it. Sometimes we have to be able to adopt and adapt. Accept it and let it go on. Often we find ourselves in a state of denial when we think, oh, this thing is not true or it shouldn't happen. Why is it happening? Why am I losing this job? Why is this thing happening to me? Yes, you have every right to question it. But there comes a time that after being in a state of denial for so long, you accept it and move on. Now let's go on to the meaning of acceptance. Acceptance just means what? Letting go of things outside your control. You cannot control it. There's nothing you can do. All you can do is pray and forget about it. But there's nothing you can do. So accept it. Okay, you know what? It has happened. It happened. Let's do it. You married, you had your first child, maybe just a year or two, the baby died. Painful, very, very painful, very emotional torture. But you can't do anything about it. If you can pray to resurrect the child, good. But if not, there is nothing you can do. It has to go. Accept it and move on and start working towards another one. No, husband, wife, we lost this baby. Let's continue. We're going to have our second baby. That is the way it works. Some things we will never have access to. I mean, people in scriptures, Bible, they look forward to receiving some things. It never happened. And they had to let it go. They didn't have it. A state of anxiety puts us into accepting reality as it is and trying to change it through constant worry. It pulls you, it makes you worry about anxiety, make you worry about stuff that are not going to be possible. Worrying is as effective as trying to solve an algebra equation by chewing bubble gum. This is crazy. Worrying about things outside of your control does not actually help solve the problem. Instead, it can further entrench the problem by putting us into a state of anxiety rather than a state of serenity. Which state is more useful amid chaos? What do you do in the midst of chaos? What do you do? Although anxiety does help keep us safe by maintaining high alert, that is for stress, it's no longer useful when spinning out of control. If you find yourself spinning out of control, fighting with your anxiety is also counterproductive. I mean, statements like, I can't feel this way. I need to feel happy. Oh no, I am getting anxious. These thoughts only serve to strengthen the anxiety. Fighting with something only gives it more power over you. So what is the most helpful approach? When it comes to acceptance, Russ Harris, one of the key thinkers in the practice of acceptance and commitment theory, states this: stop trying to control how you feel and instead take control of what you can do. This is where the third virtue in the Serenity Prayer comes in. Let us take a closer look at courage. We're going to look at courage. But before we do, let me just read the comments from my brother, Kofi. Kofi says, your topic today brings this song to mind. Let the Holy Spirit take control. Exactly. Let the Holy Spirit take control. Spirit, Spirit, Father, Father. Oh, Lord, I wish I had a voice, Kofi. I wish I could sing. Maybe you have to call in and sing this. I remember. Let the Holy Spirit, take control. Oh, the phrase is coming. Over everything that bothers my mind. La, 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 la. Nice song. I think Serenity Prayer should be said every day in the morning before one leaves for work or wherever you want to go. Exactly, Kofi, I agree with you. This one, I agree 100%. I always agree with you, but this one, I'll give you 120%. It is very, very true. I mean, when you leave home, Lord, I'm going out into the world. I'm going to be driving in the traffic. There are some people who are going to catch me in the traffic. They are going to do crazy stuff. Give me the strength to withstand their craziness. This is not where I'm going to lift up my finger and curse at them or do anything. Give me the strength to withstand them. When I'm driving and somebody is also in desperate need, wants to cut me and haunts me a little bit or begs for, I will let him in. This is not where you're going to say, you know what, you should have come earlier and joined the track. No, we have to be nice. Give me the strength, Lord, as I go to work. Maybe my boss is going to make me angry. Give me the strength and the courage not to throw up the handle or start cursing, but be able to be calmly. If I can't stand what he or she is saying, let me quietly go to my office and cool down. Kofi, you are right. This thing, prayer, we have to say every day. It is not exactly the Lord's Prayer, but it's a prayer that is coined even out of Scripture. These words come directly from the Scripture, that God will give us the strength to be able to withstand the things that we cannot. All right, let me take a quick jingle here, and then when we'll come back, we'll continue in a minute.
They are four women. They are beautiful with brains. They are eloquent, decent, wise, and experienced. You have heard many, the funny. Now, it's time to hear the experience and the brainy. Meet Selena, Dorcas, Gifty, and Annette as they present the real in common getting. In common biaye sesi chain, the dead, as in takre no assume the dead, the real in common getting. Showing live this and every Sunday, 7 p.m. on Era One Radio on Facebook and on YouTube, Era One Radio and on Taibo channel. Kaise, so we see the real in common getting what brabon tete, we nyan konkonsa, we the real in common getting.
This is not your typical tea. The Fumigio Herbal Tea by Glucose Care International is a nutritious drink and a natural blood glucose reducer. Gymnema plant, the active ingredient, and the Fumigio Herbal Tea suppresses the absorption of carbohydrate ingested from your diet. The green tea content in the Fumigio Herbal Tea promotes rejuvenation of dead cells, detoxification of your system, stimulates the pancreas to release insulin, and improves metabolism. Drinking one sachet of Fumigio Herbal Tea after meals prevents the rise in blood sugar levels, suppresses appetite, and improves bowel movements. Drinking Fumigio Herbal Tea regularly after meals can also prevent type 2 diabetes. We encourage you to drink Fumigio Herbal Tea 3 times in a day, coupled with mild exercises to maximize its benefits. Fumigio Herbal Tea has been approved by the FDA. Toxicity test conducted by SGS, so it is safe and non-toxic. A product of Singapore. With Fumigio Herbal Tea, your peace of mind is guaranteed. Call our shop now on 0245 810 623 and set your path to good health.
All right, we are broadcasting still on Facebook, YouTube, and also on Modern Ghana Radio. Tonight, I'm looking at the subject or the phrase, the Serenity Prayer. What does it mean to you? How do you relate to it? And I think the ad that I just played has to do with the Fumigio Herbal Tea. This is something I've taken before, and it works. It works. There are some things, as I'm saying in this discussion, there are some things that you cannot change. You cannot go into your body and tell your blood system to behave. But fortunately, Kofi Boison has traits in this herbal tea. I mean, he's the one in charge of this, the shipping and the supply in Ghana. You heard Aboso Kain. Go to after listening to the ad, please get closer to this the phone number. Call the shop in Aboso Kain. Get your box of the Fumigio tea. This is how it looks like. If you can see it on the screen here. Get a box of this. It's just a tea. I mean, it's nice tea. Just open the sachet, put it in warm water, and just drink it. I mean, it's not bitter. Some of you, when you are drinking medicines, you are squeezing your face like life has come to an end. It is not bitter at all. It has a very good flavor, and it's very good for taking care of diabetes. Like I said, you cannot change this because maybe due to your genetics or due to the food you ate, your A1C is going up higher to the roof, and so this herb will control it. All right. We're talking about the Serenity Prayer, the things that you cannot change. You have to accept, and the things that you can change, get the courage, the strength, the ability, the knowledge, the know-how, and change it. We are looking at the meaning of courage. And according to Steve Rose, he said, in the Serenity Prayer, courage means having the strength and determination to do what is within your control. When faced with an obstacle, we can have one of two reactions. Either you claim you are a helpless victim of circumstance, or we can take ownership of the things we do have control over. When you face a situation, sometimes the first thing we say is, oh God, why me? Why me? If it's not you, who do you want it to go to? If it's you, take that bullet and take a lesson out of it. Life is not going to give us bed of roses and everything is going to be champagne. You open the door, no, then you open. You say, Jack. I mean, we are all lining up, asking for things that we haven't received yet. We are still praying and waiting. So this is not why you ask, why me, oh Lord, or whatever it is. In that situation, take ownership. It happens, so what? So, for instance, you are going to school and unfortunately you became pregnant or something. Are you going to say life has ended? No. If it's possible, I'm not advocating anything like abortion. Have the baby, give the baby to your mom or your dad or whatever. Go back to school and study. But what I tell people is that prevention is always better than cure. So don't even get to that situation. Don't get to that situation where you are so stressed. Oh, why me? Why did they happen? There are some things that we can't help and they come, but there are some things that we bring it upon ourselves. If you know this is going to end up in this situation, do not even go straight, close to it. Get the courage to withstand it. If you're a young lady and that boy is bothering you, telling you, oh, if you love me, kiss me, let's do this, please slap the person. That is not love. Anybody who loves you is going to wait. Wait for the right time. Let's finish school. Let's do the right ceremony. Let's wed in front. Whatever you have to do the right thing. Get to the right age. So there are some things that we have control over. Have the courage. Be able to say no. Sometimes say no to that young man or that young woman and keep your life straight. Please, young men, I'm speaking to you, young women. There are some times that you have to have the courage and say no to something. That no you said is going to save you a lifetime of errors. Please, take control. Don't let circumstance overtake you. Don't say, oh, I was vulnerable. I couldn't help myself. I just allowed myself. No, take control. We all gone through before. Sometimes it's so difficult to say no, but you have to. Have you ever found yourself complaining about a bad manager? This outwardly directed blame keeps us focused on the things we do not have control over, the manager's behavior. You can't control his behavior. Maybe by gradually talking to him or doing something, he might change. But if you realize that that's the same thing the guy is doing, you have to change yourself. Instead of going to the same thing and being subject to change yourself, what am I supposed to do? When he comes talking harshly, how do I respond? When you see him grumbling or talking harshly, just stay away. Rather than pointing fingers, having the courage to look forward, look inward allows you to take responsibility for the things you do have control over. Rather than pointing fingers, having the courage to look inward allows you to take responsibility for the things you do have control over. Yes, that thing is so unsurmountable. But what are you going to do? Do you have the courage, the strength to take responsibility and move forward? Life will throw things at you. Life is not going to be fair. When I became a Christian, I thought, oh, anytime I say the name Jesus, whatever I wanted will happen. No, it doesn't happen that way. On my mother's side, I was the only child. And so for some time, I was pampered for a while. Anything I wanted, mom would give it to me. And I realized that, no, this wasn't going to happen. When she left before my 18th around birthday, now who do I ask to pamper me? I had to grow up. I had to be responsible for myself, know how to live myself. I didn't have a mom to go and cry to. Mom, I need this or do this. I had to grow up from that age. So sometimes you have to take responsibility and move on from there. You cannot control the actions of a bad manager, but you can control how you respond. You can also control whether or not you stay in that job. That is a very good point. If you realize that you cannot take the attitude or the behavior, guess what? Look for another job and leave. You don't have to punish yourself and always come home and cry and punish yourself. Yeah, that's why there are options in life. If he won't change his attitude, then you have to change yourself. Move away. Move away. There are some animals in this life that they don't have control over some things, but when they move to certain objects and they hate it, what do? They change direction. If that manager is stressing you, don't stay there forever and come home and cry or vent that same anger on your family members. You go to work, your boss is stressing you so much, you get so angry, you come home and you are angry with everybody in the house. It happens to us, all of us, but we are all learning. We are all learning to do better. As soon as you leave work and you come home, whatever happens, do not vent that anger on your family members. It's very important. The courage to take an appropriate action does not mean the absence of fear. There is fear, yeah. We fear. You know that thing you are doing, you are afraid. Fear catch you. But you have to be strong. It means noticing the fear and carrying it with you as you take action. Despite it. Yeah, I'm afraid of this thing I'm going to do. But of course, you know what? I'm not going to stay in that situation. Leaving that job is like, okay, I'm going to lose my paycheck. How long is it going to take me to get another job? Of course, maybe the wise thing to do is that whilst you are being subject to that maltreatment, to put it in quotes, start applying. And as soon as you get another job, you don't go to your boss and say, hey, hasta la vista, hey, I am gone. Your attitude stinks. I am gone. Please don't break that bridge either. You don't know. When you get that job and you are leaving, do not break any bridge. Don't go to your manager face and go and disdain him and say, you know what, you maltreated me, I am gone crazy, you and insult whatever. You never know when you're going to meet that same manager anymore. What if that manager changed after that and he became the manager of another place that you applied to later on in years? Oh, you were the one that left and you insulted me, and I'm the one interviewing you to give you a job. Forget you. So never, never, ever, ever break your bridges. If your manager is bad and you have been able to get a job and leave quietly, manager, thank you for that attitude. It made me move on in life, and now I'm going to a better place. For all you know, you might meet the same person again in another job that he may happen to be the boss or you be the boss. Never ever break bridges. That is why we don't maltreat people in life. I mean, if you have to leave quietly and nicely. You meet the next time, the relationship is still there, not severed. And so you can pick it up from there. So please, your boss is bad, but then when you are leaving, don't insult or do all those crazy things. People pull up their fingers and they do all kinds of stuff. And I mean, it's not really cool. That is not the way to fight, fear or whatever. Courage means living on purpose. You have a purpose to live. That is what you are doing. You are living on purpose, not taking action as its own form of action. By not taking action, you are allowing your life to be dictated by external forces. Refusing to make a decision is making a decision. So if you realize that you are going through the situation and it's not working, please find a way to go around it. And Kelly Wilson writes again, many people live their lives by circumstance rather than on purpose. Whatever comes their way, they take it. That's just circumstance. Oh, this is what hit me. I'm just going to rule that way. You have to have your strong conviction. Yes, this happens to me, but that's not the way I want to do it. That's not how I want to go. I have to change and let things work better for me. That's what we're talking about tonight. Courage is about taking responsibility. Courage is about taking responsibility. Although responsibility is important, not everything is your responsibility. Let me say that again. Although responsibility is important, not everything is your responsibility. In the workplace example, it is not your responsibility to change your manager. You can try. You go for work meetings. Hey, you know what, manager, can I talk to you in secret or in camera or just the two of us? Manager, I realize that when you come to work in the morning, you are always angry. I mean, you're not going to say that, but is your wife messing with you in the house, or is your husband worrying at home? Is there anything we can do? Your attitude is not really, really pleasant. Is there anything we can help? Try doing that. If that doesn't work and that's the guy's palaver, that's fine. But remember, in actual fact, you cannot change anybody. They have to change themselves. They have to come to the point and say, you know what, I want to change and I'm going to change. Also, many people have experienced traumas, marginalization, and injustice that were not their responsibility. But as stated earlier on, remember, responsibility is not always yours. If you've experienced trauma leading to mental health issues, you are not responsible for the problem, but you are responsible for being part of the solution. If you drank your head off, you became a drunkard, you became a drug addict, yes, that is what you started. But what you can do is that to find a way to get out of the situation. That is why they put people in rehabs. The key is knowing the difference between something that is your responsibility and something that is not. And this brings us to our final virtue, which is wisdom. But before I do, let me see this comment here. Let me see the comment that is coming, and then, oh, okay, this is this same guy. All right. I think Kofi said earlier on that I think serenity prayer should be said every day in the morning before one leaves for work or wherever you want to go. And the other comment is about this guy talking about his MTM. All right. You know what? I have the courage. I'm not going to be angry at you for posting this, but if you can, this is not the right place to bring this comment. All right. So let's see. Let me see if I can get a nice music, and then we'll go on. I mean, I've been talking so much, so let me take this out real quick.
Hello, beautiful people of Ghana. This is Banahine Specialist Hospital. We are so excited to announce to our people Ghana that we are finally opened and we are accepting patients. At Banahine Specialist Hospital, our extraordinary physicians and nurses are here to provide a high-quality medical service to our extraordinary patients. Our services include primary care services, maternal, neonatal, and pediatric services. We also have an in-house pharmacy. We have X-ray and laboratory services available to you. Come to us for all your healthcare needs, and you will be happy you did, because we believe that health is wealth. Thank you, and stay blessed.
All right, we're still talking about the Serenity Prayer, and this is Era 1. I'm broadcasting a divine connection. This is where divinity meets humanity. We have to use the gifts of the Spirit and also use our brains. We cannot just say, oh, let's go all spirits and leave the brains. And we can also say, let's go all the brains and leave the spirit. We have to merge the two. And as I say on this broadcast, one of our former scholars from Africa says, for harmony and peace, play both the black and the white keys of the piano. All right, we're talking about the Serenity Prayer, and this is where I talk about wisdom, the meaning of wisdom. And so according to Rose Steve, this is what he said. In the Serenity Prayer, wisdom means knowing what is within your control and what is not within your control. Therefore, wisdom allows you to know when to practice acceptance and when to practice courage. This is very important. Wisdom will teach you when to practice acceptance and when to practice courage. For instance, when I was younger, living in Achimota, Accra, we were playing soccer at Achimota Preparatory School, and there was this guy who wanted to play, and for some reason, I don't know what happened. There was some kind of altercation or something, and so this guy was very angry that we were not going to allow him to play. You know, in those days when you are playing as case, normally we play, you know, a team. I mean, like one side here, and we just put a number on the team, like 3 here, 4 here, whatever. So these guys came and we had already shared the number. So we had 4 here, and said, okay, if you're an odd number, you have to wait for somebody to come. So one will go here, one will come here. Simple understanding. This guy didn't understand. He got angry, and I think there was something happening. So for some reason, either he didn't play, or I don't remember the full details, but then the guy wasn't a happy camper. So, well, we left and I just went my way. I went home. But one evening I had to go to, I think, Abelempe, which was not too far from Achimota police station where I used to live. So I was going out there, I was going to see my uncle or do something. And this boy that I had an altercation with, and he didn't play and he was angry, met me. Unfortunately, there were 3 of them and me by myself. These guys met me and they started molesting me. They started beating me up. And so at that time, I was 1 against 3 people, and they looked older than me, more mature than me. So I had to make a decision. Do I stand and fight or run away? That is when my adrenaline began to kick in. You know, when you are in a situation where you get to a fight or flight mode, your adrenaline begins to kick in and tells you, boy, you don't have the strength to stand this guy. So just pick race, run. So I have to decide. I got some few, beatings. They beat me. I mean, which I said, the guys almost blew me apart. They beat me very well. But then I had to decide, do I accept the situation that I can't stand them and run? Or do I stand there and feel mature and fight them? So at that time, wisdom came in. I had to run. The least chance I got, I ran away. I escaped. I ran away. Wisdom will tell you, do you stand and fight or do you run? You have to know the situation. A typical example, what happened to Joseph? When Joseph went to Potiphar's house, Bible says that he was nice to look on. I mean, I don't know whether Joseph was doing raising metals or doing macho. He had a nice physique. So the wife took notice of him and he wanted to have an affair with Joseph. But Bible tells us that every day this one will make advance to Joseph. Joseph will go and clean the bedroom, and this woman will chase Joseph there when the husband went to work. And at one time, the woman said, you know what, Joseph, I've had it. As for today, it has to happen. So he was forcing and pushing, trying even to rape Joseph. And Joseph decided, you know what? I don't want to sin against my boss, your husband, or against God. So I am not going to be part of this, your shenanigan crazy thing. So I will run. Joseph decided to do what? To run away. He ran. And unfortunately, the apron he was wearing, his garment, was pulled away by this lady. So the lady took it as an evidence, Exhibit A. And this is what the woman used against Joseph to the husband. Husband came from work, tired, and needed to eat. After eating, because she thought Joseph was going to report first, she decided to report first and told the husband, hey, come on, boy, do you know what your servant did? This guy tried raping me, and I have evidence. Exhibit A is right there. This is his garment that I had to pull away and all stuff. and Joseph couldn't defend himself, so he was thrown into a prison. So at this point, this guy had to run. He had a wisdom. He said, you know what? I don't want to sin. In modern days, somebody would have said, you know what? This is my boss's wife, and my boss won't know. If I do it, the wife will give me more promotion. She will like me more, and God knows where it was going to end. But this guy said, you know what? I don't want to sin against God, and I don't want to sin against man. So I'm going to pick race, like the Nigerians would say. He ran, and he ended it in trouble. But that trouble was a good trouble. Sometimes, God doesn't initiate or attempt or test us. But when the enemy does that, God uses that situation. The prison that Joseph went to, he learned the skills of Egypt. And what happened? Later on, this guy was acquitted and discharged. He became the prime minister of Joseph. So sometimes the wisdom to run away saves your life. Another case in point, let's look at another man of God, David. David had a similar example. As for me, nobody put him in trouble. He went for his own trouble. David was working on his palace. Bible says he was on the rooftop, according to 1 Samuel, is it 13 somewhere there, if you have time, read it. David was working on his palace, the rooftop, where I believe he can see everybody in the neighborhood. Now, sometimes when you go to certain buildings, 10th floor, 20th floor, you can see everything down. So David was working on his rooftop, and Bible says at that time he was supposed to go to war, but he didn't go to war. He chilled in the house, and he felt that, I've fought enough battles. I've killed Goliath. I've led the army of Saul. Now I'm a king. I also need to chill. So he was chilling on his rooftop. And Bible records that he saw a beautiful, pretty lady by name Bathsheba. The woman was bathing, taking a bath. So you don't bath with your clothes on. So you bath naked. So David saw the woman naked. And of course, being a man like all of us, he saw the boobs, he saw the side. Everywhere was attracted to David. Meanwhile, David at that time, I think, had 3 or 4 wives already. And this guy wasn't happy with enough in that he had. He said, you know what? Who is that lady? She looks very pretty, attractive, good to see for the eyes. The eyes was all over the place. Look at all the places that was standing straight. Of course, I'm sure the lady was in her prime. So everything was standing jet. The breast was facing David straight on 90 degrees and all that. The guy said, no, I want this thing some. So he sent for the lady. The lady came, and the one who was sent said, you know what? This woman is the daughter of Eliam. So the guy was precise to add a description. She is the daughter of Eliam, as if that was enough for David to back up. And she is also the wife, the bona fide wife, the married wife of Uriah, who was your army, in charge of your army. So the lady is a daughter of somebody, an elite in the society. He is also your army general's wife. So none of these two bothered you, Joseph. Just David didn't hear nothing. So here, courage didn't give David the strength to run away or to close his eyes. Some would have said, oh, you know what? I've looked enough. Oh, it's somebody's wife. I'm not going near that. It's nothing. My wife, my eyes. You are deceiving me. You are trying to get me into trouble, like Joseph did. This one there, he stood and he watched, and he called. And Bible says that he later had an affair with this woman who became pregnant. And David committed this adultery, added murder to it by asking the army commander to put Uriah in front of the wall, and he died. So David made sure the husband died after committing adultery. So when you get to this situation, you ask yourself, what is wisdom telling me? Is wisdom telling me to run away or to stand and continue staring? Some of the problems that we have in life, we put ourselves into. There are some things that they come on you, you don't call for them. I'll give you 2 examples. In Joseph's example, he was doing his everyday chore. All he had to do was clean the master's bedroom because the master trusted Joseph. The favor of God was upon Joseph. So the man allowed Joseph to come and clean his bedroom. You don't go to people's bedroom like that. Oh, not everybody will allow you to go into his bedroom. So for Potiphar to allow Joseph to come and clean his bedroom, which means he trusted the guy to the zenith point. And that's where matter came. But Joseph stood the test of time. He said, you know what? My master trusts me so much. I'm not going to do this evil. So Joseph had the courage to run away. How about Brother David, he said, no, me, dear Charlie, I want some. Give it to me. I want it now. Instant gratification. Let me have some of that breast. Let me have some of that thing. That lady, I want the lady so bad. And he went for it. And then Nathan came to and said, you know what? There was a man who had a lot of animals, sheep, everything. And there was one who didn't have anything but only one animal. This one animal was family, everything to this man. And so he cherished this animal. And the one that had so many animals, sheep, flock, everything, had a guest. And instead of killing one of his animals, no, he went to the man with only one animal, the only begotten animal. And he snatched animal, killed it, and offered it to his guest. And David was fuming, crashing the boat seriously. I said, hey, who did that? Whoever did that, we have to kill him. Why would you do that? Why would you leave your 20, 30, 100 animals and go and kill somebody with only one? The guy was fuming, but seriously, David said, Charlie, we have to kill this man. And Nathan let David calm down and say, no, King David, you are the one. You left your numerous wives and everything, and you went for Uriah's wife. And God was so angry. He said, David, I brought you to the king. If you wanted one woman, ask me. I'll bring you to the throne. I would have given you more women, but not going for Uriah, your commander of fighters. No, that was wrong. So this example, one had the courage to run. One said, as for me, I will stand and fight. So in the serenity prayer, wisdom means knowing what it is within you, your control, and what is not within your control. Therefore, wisdom allows you to know when to practice acceptance. Are you going to accept the situation and find ways and move on? Are you going to take courage and take a different direction? Or are you going to ask yourself, is this something within my control? If not, you can then ask yourself, what is within my control? What do I do? The wisdom to know the difference is often clouded by anxiety when we are immersed within our thoughts. Rather than having the wisdom of clarity, our thoughts might lead us astray. It's very important. Our minds often lie to us, leading to what is referred to by psychologists as cognitive distortions. One of the most common includes black and white thinking. This means the tendency to overgeneralize, having thoughts consisting of always or never. Oh, you can say, all blacks are this, all whites are this. Never generalize unless it's happening to you. For example, I am always treated unfairly by my manager. Find out, do a research. Is it the same thing with all the other people? Are you the only one being, cited for hatred or whatever? Find out, is there something you yourself you are doing that is warranting your manager to hate you? Do a little bit of research before you conclude. Some people have come to the conclusion that blacks were enslaved, or blacks are so and so. Yeah, you can go to that extent, but do you have valid evidence? The key to wisdom is the ability to look at your thoughts as if you are a third-party observer. What we need to learn to do is to look at a thought rather than from thought. Having the wisdom to know when a thought is clouding your judgment requires being present to the moment. And here, Steve quotes Daniel Siegel and says that mental presence is a state of being wide awake and receptive to what is happening as it is happening in the moment. Within us and between the world and us, presence cultivates happiness. Presence gives you the clarity to step back from your thoughts and see the bigger picture. Wisdom allows you to then distinguish what is your own responsibility in the matter. So when you go to any situation, ask yourself, was this my fault? Is this something I have to accept and move on? Do I have the courage to move on or to change it? So never blame. Sometimes we give too much credit to the devil. The devil made me do it. The devil instigated me. The devil inspired me. Some people use the word inspire. The devil inspired me. And inspiration is not a negative word. So I don't know how the devil can inspire you. Maybe he can instigate you. Even that, ask yourself, was it your own thoughts that were helping you do that? Because, for instance, before anybody commits adultery, the process is so long. It's very, very, very long. The thoughts would have come first. You have to be in contact with the person. You have to be able to lure the person. You have to be able to take the person here. The person, both of you have to take off your clothes. Just like it's a long journey. So before you get there, there are so many tracks. And you can cut off some of the tracks. It doesn't come that easy. So when you find yourself in that situation, you ask yourself, did I contribute to it? Instead of saying the devil made me do it. Well, sometimes there are forces that make us do stuff. But then we also have to be responsible when it happens. It's already done. What are you going to do? Are you going to sit there and cry and moan and just let things pass, or are you going to find a strategy to move on? I think my time is up. I am over my time limit by 3 minutes. I know my studio manager also wouldn't beat me up. I'm 3 minutes over. So this is where I want to end up. I thought I was going to do just a 20-minute reflection and leave, but sometimes you get into the studio and then you talk a lot. So I want to thank you for joining me to the studio. I want to thank my brother Kofi for joining me with his comments, and I appreciate that. Also, you put in a negative comment, but it's okay. You join us in our discussion. That's fine. Maybe next time you put a better comment. But I just want to thank anybody that is listening. Please go back to Era One. Look for Divine Connection or generally Era One Radio, and just our videos are all there. This is a 24/7 channel. We are always doing, either we are playing music or we are having educational programs. And today being a Tuesday, this is what I did on Divine Connection. We have programs lined up every day. We have Yensum that comes on Mondays, Divine Connection on Tuesday. Thursday, we have a Divine Connection again, and we have our show that is coming from 9 to 10 p.m. And Saturday, Brother Ostus comes in early in the morning, and Sunday, we have the school and common and all that. So we are having a lot of education, and all this, you don't have to pay anything. Of course, it costs somebody. It costs our CEO to put all this thing together. So thanks to Dr. Ostus for making this possible. So for those of you who are listening, share the clip. Let's share and let's know what the Serenity Prayer is. Like Kofi said in the link or the comments, this is something we always have to. I mean, you might not pray it directly and verbatimly as the words go, but we want to ask God for the strength to change the things that we can, and the things that we cannot change, to have the strength to accept them and move on. Accept what you cannot change. It is not everything that we can change in this world. If all of us can change everything, brother, maybe I wouldn't be in the studio by now. I would have been somewhere. I would have been on a cruise or somewhere, or flying jets or doing something. I mean, we all want good stuff. I mean, would have done something extra or something. Would have been somewhere else. But there are some things you can't change. Right now, this is where I am. I can't change my not being in the studio this evening. I am here. I can't change it. But the thing is that after doing this, I have to go do something else. So the Serenity Prayer will always be a prayer that we have to, keep praying and asking God, whatever prayers you have, whether you are blowing in tongues or whatever, ask God for the strength. This is not a hedonistic prayer. It's actually a prayer that is governed. It was a man of God, somebody, who is rooted in the gospel, who prayed this prayer after putting together what is read and what he feels life is. And that's what it means. Like, to be able, God grants me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Very important. As for this, I've tried and tried. I can't change, but give me the strength to maybe do something else. And as I said in my broadcast, Paul went through the same experience. We know Paul wrote about 2/3 of the New Testament. Even him, he prayed and said, Lord, take away this thing from me. And God said, you know what? My strength, my grace is sufficient for you. When Jesus went to Gethsemane, he was praying, Lord, he said, Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass over me. God didn't change the cup. He made Jesus drink the cup so that all of us will be, saved. So sometimes some things will not change, but the things that need to be changed, please don't sit there and say your grandfather is going to change it for you. Do something about it. Start working on it. Change it right now, and it will be for your good. Thank you very much for staying with me an hour and I think 7 minutes. I'm going to sign off, and until then, maybe next week, thank you and have a good evening. Bye-bye for now.
Kosuanity Era One Radio. Empenyini say, Yensuma na motenten, yesuma benyasafo, Era One Radio. Yedin semu anumwaye ebe.
Aden urefiana, se o tumi manya eni, o tumi manya eni aba. Aden me ba, Aden cry. Hey, I was saying that's what's up. Any that's so, any that's so, any that's on sang, any that's so, oh, any that's on sang yo. Any that's so, hey, I'm in Subi, any that's so, any that's so, any that's so, oh, I'm finding, oh, I do, get to say, any that's so, Ana muni padi ya unse